Right. Hello there, everybody. It's your Sunday, which means, fingers crossed, I do seem to be doing a lot of fingers crossing that I'm going to be actually having a live show, because it really hasn't gone well over the last month and a half, has it? Yeah, we're going to have to accept that there's been some gremlins afoot, but there we go. Welcome along anyway. I'm going to say hi. And yes, good to have you here. If you are watching now, it means that you are a subscriber, and of course we appreciate that always. So thank you very much indeed for jumping in on the old notifications. Head down below, hit the bell, and it lets you know when we're live, whether we're doing a incidental show, which I suspect we may have to in the near future. More about that in a second. Yeah. Oh, no, I think we'll have this one over here. There we go. Yeah, my Patreon supporters. I definitely wanted to show my appreciation to these guys, because we have been having some great articles going up on the conventioncollective.com. And basically every penny that comes in to the Patreon goes straight to them. It goes to the writers. So, for example, we had a review of Avatar go up this week. We've had a review of a cracking comic, which I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on. Yeah, all in all, it's just been a really great way for me to give back to them. So, yeah, every penny goes to our patrons. It goes to our contributors. So thank you very much indeed for that. Oh, okay. Mark Mearmont, there's no video. I'll try and respond next time. Oh, please do let me know if there's an issue. Is it just Mark's problem or is it me? It's probably me. We know what this is going on. Andrew English is saying hello, everyone from London. Toby is saying hello. Hiya, Leonard. Solistra Smeg. What's up, everyone? Into the Blue, mister. Hello from Miles, from Wales. And Weird Life of V. Hello from Monterey, California. Oh, you see, it's an international collective. It's good. Mark Mearmont, there's no video. I'll try and respond next time. Please do let me know, everyone, if there is actually issue with the video, because I'd like to know. Yeah, because we had some issues with our show last week, and I'd like to know if it's me. if it's my broadcast, I want to know. Mark Mearmont, goodbye from Clearwater, Florida. Oh no, what a shame. So I'll play the opening credits. We'll see what happens. Let us know what's going on, everyone. Yeah. Snowflakes, because it's Christmas. Well, we're nearly there, aren't we? 1 week away. Hello there, everybody. Welcome along to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. There's nothing away. Get rid of those for a second. Hello there. We've got comments. We've got people who are saying hello. Andrew English is saying, I saw the countdown. Into the Blue, mister. Everyone looks groovy at my end. Michael P. Hi, guys, and Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you guys. Welcome along to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much indeed for your company. No guest today. We've had another cancellation, but that's mostly, I suspect, down to, at the end of the day, we have 7 days away. from Christmas. So everyone's kind of like now breaking up for holidays or having babies by the looks of things. We've got T. Berry Blue, who's an excellent comic creator. They've just given birth. We've also got Rachel Smith, who has yet to properly announce, but I will say that there's good news on her baby front. So that's all well and good. But yeah, everyone's just kind of like busy. So there we go. Yeah, so we've got no guests as such. So today it's going to be a little bit more loose and informal. We may even finish a little early. But we've got a couple of headlines, a couple of things to talk about. And also maybe a little bit of a Christmas present from me to you in terms of a bit of a video that you get to choose. So tell you what, we'll do a couple of things. Andrew English, the occasional picture freeze. I am wondering if that is just, if it's me, because I am hardwired into my extension box going out. So please let me know if this is continuing. In the comments, let me know if there's a technical issue with the broadcast, because I want to make sure that's okay. What is that? I'm crying, baby. No idea what that is. There we go. So yes, please do let us know what the technical issues, or if there are any technical issues. I mean, I really want to apologize not only to you guys for watching, but also to Mark Stafford, who was joining us last week to talk about his project, which he's currently promoting at the moment, which Salmonella Smorgasbord, which hopefully you went and had checked that out. It's on crowdfunder.com. Tell you what, I've still got it up from last week. Crowdfunder.com, Salmonella Smorgasbord. I've been rereading the PDF that he sent through pretty much all of last week, because it was just so much fun. It is just such a really cool collection of his work over the course of the many years that he's been an eminent cartoonist. So no, excellent. It was a really, I really love the book. It's a shame that we had the technical issues with Mark. And again, I'm not entirely sure if it's my end or if it was something at his, but there was just a serious lag, and his picture kept freezing, and it didn't quite work. And so it wasn't the most in-depth conversation. But hopefully you get the chance to go to crowdfunder.com and check out Salmonella Smorgasbord, because it really was. It's a hell of a book. And if you get the chance to own that collection, I think you'll have an excellent addition to your library. So there we go. So yes, Toby saying hello, not seeing any issues so far. Good to hear. Sarita P is saying hello. And we got Aaron Neighbors joining us as well. Hola. From San Diego. Welcome. So a couple of things to explain. Number one, yes, it's still not entirely decorated, but again, this is Christmas for you, so I've been very busy at the job, and also it means that any kind of free time I have been doing DJing as well. I'm now done for DJing now for the year, but there's nothing next weekend, because obviously with the whole everyone's just kind of, yeah, it was all kind of nice to do some DJing over the last couple of weeks. But now next week, it's obviously Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So there's no DJing in. So that's me done now. And the next job for me is New Year's Eve. I am saying, it's showing that I've got connection is unstable. If I unplug this cable, this is going straight to just Wi-Fi now. There you go. It's connecting. It's getting there. Toby saying it was all at his end. You never lagged out during that interview, as I remember. Okay, so who knows? Who knows? It may even be a case of the fact that I'm broadcasting at full 1080p. So it may be something that I'm a little bit laggy on, but who knows? Right, so just a couple of things then. Like I say, some headlines that we want to do, and also some conversations that I want to have with you guys. So if there's any questions you want to just get out there. I mean, we've got people talking about the DC news, so much DC news going on at the moment. I mean, there's some stuff which I would like to talk about, and some stuff which I can't, because my brother is actually involved in the production of one of the DC films. And he would like to see himself on screen. He'd like to see that film released, which, if it all came off, he would be a rather significant character in a certain DC character's lexicon. So obviously he would like to see himself on screen, but from what I've been hearing, certainly the way that the Flash is getting panned out, whether stuff's being edited out of the Flash, obviously Henry Cavill. Now, Henry Cavill, the whole thing with Henry Cavill is interesting because at the very least, he is now getting on to do a project which, while he has emotional investment like he did with Superman, he absolutely adores, which is Warhammer. And the fact that he has stepped away from doing The Witcher to do a project, and everyone thought it was going to be Superman, and then James Gunn and Peter Safran stuck their 5 pence in. Yeah, we thought that it was going to be doom and gloom for Henry Cavill, but no, he's getting to do Warhammer, and he's doing it as a TV series, so there's going to be a lot of it. So I'm down for that, but also just to see him in a kind of rough and ready kind of like Space Marine mode. I think that's going to be really cool. So no, fair play to him. That's what he wants to do, and he's all good for it. Sorry to Pete, he's a gamer, isn't he? And yeah, he's really cool. Word Life of V, I'm on vacation right now, so I can't stay on for long. Have a busy itinerary today. Merry Christmas and happy first day. Absolutely to you as well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for a spell. So yeah, we could talk about that if you want. If you want to jump in with your comments, what's your thoughts? I mean, I am a Warhammer I was a Warhammer 40k gamer. I played the tabletop version and I had the books. This is back when I was a little bit of a nipper. So I haven't kept up with Warhammer by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that I'm going to be paying attention to, because as long as it keeps to the lore and goes a little bit more to the old school, back to this old Space Marines, I'm down for that. So you must call from Banner Studio to play World of Warcraft. Exactly. So there you go. The man he's one of us. He's absolutely one of us. So there we go. Into the Blue Mister, I've seen your question. I will come back to you on that in a second. So let's go into this then. It's something I haven't done for a while, and I want to do this again. Every single episode, I want to do a question of the week. This is opening up to you guys. This is asking you what your thoughts are, what your take on stuff is, and basically asking your thoughts and get a bit of a discussion going, because this is your show after all. Yeah, let's have this loitering in the background. Just have a think about this and throw up any of the answers that you feel. It's basically because we are 7 days away from Christmas. What has been your most memorable Christmassy nerd moment? So there you go. I mean, it could be a favorite present. It could be something that happened on Christmas or around the Christmas period. It could be something that you, I don't know, went to do something Christmassy and something nerdy happened. What has been your most memorable Christmassy nerdy moment? Mine actually happened in the middle of the year. I would say my most memorable Christmassy nerd moment. I wasn't able to make to San Diego Comic Con 2018. It was difficult because everyone was obviously having a blast of a time, and it was just a really cool it was a really good show that particular year. There was some really big announcements happening. I was glued throughout the course of the entire week that con was happening, but I wasn't able to make it. Funds were just not that particular way, which meant we were going to just save up and at least head out the year after and make it the big show. But as it happens, I had a bunch of friends out in the US that we've made over the course of the years, going out to San Diego Comic Con, and they turned around on the first night, on the preview night, and said, "We would, you know what? Let's make a little bit of a care package for Leonard and Caroline." So there was Toby involved, there was Aaron involved, there was all of our friends just chipped in. They all just kind of picked bits and pieces up from around the con. And then on the Sunday, they all came together and they just stuck it in a box. And this box arrived from Toby, and it was sent out to us. And it was my most memorable Christmassy nerd moment, because it really was like opening up a Christmas present from the nerd community and all of this. And it was a massive box as well. The postage alone was just ridiculous to get it to us. And myself and Caroline, we were in bits. We were absolutely teary. We were emotional to have all these great gifts coming our way. But it was just it was nerd Christmas. It really was. And yeah, it was a very special day. If you saw the live stream of that particular day, you'll know that that meant a lot to us. And it felt like Christmas, because we just opened up this box and it was just a present from everyone, and it was just amazing. But there we go. So there you go. There's your question. What has been your most memorable Christmassy nerd moment? Jump in, let us know, and jump in with any of your comments and questions. Yesterday was running around and getting last minute Christmas presents. I'm the only one that's really earning in the house at the moment. Dad's got his pension, but obviously he's kind of like keeping his funds close to his chest, because he's got things to pay for, and like heating and whatever. But it's only between myself and Caroline. Caroline's back at college, so I'm really the only person that is earning at the moment, which means I know what I'm getting from my dad for Christmas, which I will be sharing on Christmas Day. We went into the shop to get said present, which I had ordered. I then went to the other end of the room, and we went through the whole palaver of pretending. So Caroline bought it, has presented the invoice or the receipt to my dad. She's going to wrap it. I'm going to open it up and give it the whole, oh, amazing surprise. I know exactly what's coming. But yeah, very, very strange. But no, it was all kind of bits and pieces and stocking fillers yesterday. So hopefully you're getting into the Christmas spirit. The lights are on downstairs. I haven't got any spare ones for up here, unfortunately. Not only that, but if I did put them up, there's nowhere to really put them. It's like I said, it's still a bit of a mess up here. But no, hopefully you're going to have yourself a great time on Christmas for whatever you are picking up. Into the Blue Mister, it's the Lego Eiffel Tower, right? If I could afford to buy myself the Lego Eiffel Tower at 10,001 pieces, yes, I saw that yesterday when we were out and about. We went to the Lego store in Leeds, and they've got one in the window, and that's a monster. That's a hell of a thing. I have turned around to Caroline and said I still wouldn't mind getting some Lego for Christmas, but we'll see what happens. It ain't the Lego Eiffel Tower. I'd still love to get the Millennium Falcon. I'd still love to get the Helicarrier. I'd still love to get a big Lego thing. But funds and space definitely do not hold up for that at the moment. So you never know. Once this room gets kind of completed, maybe that in one corner I get myself a major nerdy, I don't know, there's the Doctor Strange Sanctorum, maybe, or something. I won't mind getting something, but there we go. Andrew English, 5 foot tall, I hear. It's huge. It's absolutely mammoth. And it's really well detailed as well. I mean, it must be a swine to build. But no, that Lego Eiffel Tower is something very special. The box itself, it's a standard kind of like the collector's editions sizes, but it doesn't give you a sense of how big it is when it's built. Very, very impressive. Very, very cool. Solicitor Smeg, the older I get, the more Lego sets look like things I'll step on at night going to the bathroom. It's the worst pain in the world to stand on one of those things, isn't it? And I saw one in the Cardiff store on the weekend. It's enormous. It's huge. This mammoth thing. But no, we went to the comic book shop as well. So, I mean, I've been picking up some of my comics. So there are some books I can recommend, certainly, to you guys if you are heading to your comic book shop. Because I do want this to be very much about your comics as well. So, for example, Charles Soule and Will Sliney are doing at the moment Hell to Pay, which is a very impressive book at the moment, coming from Image. Image are just knocking it out of the park. I know that I've been sort of talking about other indie creators, but Image are not an indie. Not, I mean, I know people talk about the big two. It's not. They are. They're there. They're up there. So I mean, for example, Nocterra from Scott Snyder. That's my physical copy. Scott actually sent me through the PDF for that because he's particularly proud of that book, which kind of just I'll return back to that because something else that we were talking about a little bit later. Nice of the Ghoul, his other effort at the moment. This is coming out from Comixology and Dark Horse, his own best jacket press book at the moment. What else did I pick up? Oh yes, Gotham City Year One and Variants, which I've yet to read. Tom King doing a cracking job on that. Let's have a look at it. I haven't read this yet, but Tom King again, but with Jorge Fornes, which is Danger Street. But I've been hearing very good things from that. It's a DC Black Label book, but from all accounts, all original characters from DC. Interesting, heading into the kind of that kind of realm. That's rather cool. Batman 130, which is a very nice variant there. Look at that. It's I can never pronounce his surname. Is it Sepangelic? Hell of an artist. Tom King again with Elsa Chaterier and Love Everlasting, which I'm really enjoying. But this is a book which I'm really I want to kind of talk about this one. Blue Beetle, Graduation Day. It is kind of like it's a limited series. It's a 1 in 6. It is I don't know the creative team, but they are all very familiar with the language. It's Mexican, so we're talking Mexican creators. And the great thing about this is there are pages of dialogue in Mexican. So it's Josh Trillo and Adrian Gutierrez with Will Quintana on colorist and Luis Gattoni on letters. There's whole pages in Mexican. And at first I was looking for the translation, and I thought, no, that's not what it's for. It's representation, man. And that's what it's supposed to be about. You're supposed to get into the culture, and that's what it's all about. And it's about family, and it's about responsibility, and it's about it's just an amazing, it's a great representation. And I think that will turn out to be an important book. Blue Beetle, Graduation Day. Dude, where are the comic books on those bags? OK Comics do not deliver boards per bag as standard. The only ones that they do are the kind of like the variants. So that comes with a backboard. And look at this. Who's this? Oh, Greg Smallwood doing his variant there for Batman Year One issue 2. Yeah, those come with the backboards. The rest of them, not so much. And just be very careful with them. So there we go. Yeah. So I've got some comics to read. I've got a lot of comics to catch up on. So I'm looking forward to next week and just getting the chance to catch up on my comics. So there we go. Into the Blue Mist. I think there's an international shortage of boards at the moment. I can't find any anywhere. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to look into that if that's the case. I mean, then again, it's turning into a little bit of a strange kind of time financially for the comics industry across the board, considering that if you've been following social media, artists not getting paid by even some of the bigger names, such as Valiant, haven't been paying work for artists for up to something 6 months. You've got the likes of who was it now? There's a publisher that was doing work for Princeless. So that would be it's not Boom, but it's basically a publisher that has decided that they're going to take a story and publish it for their free comic book day, while the co-creators for the characters of Princeless, Raven, and the rest are in legalities with the publisher over the rights of said characters, including payment that hasn't been made. We talk about, I mean, there's currently strikes happening here in the UK, and there's quite a significant amount of them in the nurses community, in transport, in energy supply. There's all the strikes which are happening over the course of this week and next. And all of this is because it's got the power of unionization behind them. And I hate to go all political or anything, but if there's one agency that really needs some kind of unionization or some kind of support and buffer to help them, it is the comics industry, because the fact that it is a traditionally mercenary business to get into and to exist in, for artists, writers, letterers, colorists, the works, that will be constantly exploited by the publishers out there. And this has been over decades, pretty much ever since the comics industry started. The fact that there are there isn't a union or some kind of collective that will have the backs, short of the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Yeah, it's just very, 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 very strange. Solicitor Meg, do creators not have a say if their comic becomes a free comic book day issue? Not if it doesn't belong to them, by all accounts. It's Jeremy Whiteley is the creator, and yeah, he posted over the course of this week that it's just been so difficult for them to keep quiet when they've got this legal battle over the rights of their character and characters, which are now in the hands of the publisher. And that publisher is now exploiting the good faith of the readership by apparently advertising that there's this new material coming out from the creators, when the creators didn't have any clue that was happening. I think it's just absolutely disgusting. Toby, hate to say this, but I've been considering putting my comic subscription at the shop I go to on hold until this inflation problem is going on subscribes, trimming the fat, as it were. That I totally understand. I mean, as you can see there, that pile there, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 titles. I was at 20, 25 titles. That used to be a pile 3 times that. I mean, I'm still taking a couple of risks. I mean, I'm still checking damn them all. But no, I think what I'm doing is getting into a point where I'm 3 issues in, and if it's just not grabbing me, then I will cancel it. Night of the Ghoul, that was a 3-issue run, so that's done and done. So I've been kind of sold on that one. Nocterra, I am going to keep going because that's just an amazing book. Love Everlasting, I'm just a huge fan of. Hell to Pay, I'm going to give that 3 issues. Yeah, I get it. And you have to do these things. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, certainly here in the UK, I mean, there you go. That's $4.99. That's $4.99. That's a tenner for 2 books. I went to see Avatar, with the Way of Water. today, which I will also be talking about shortly. And that was 18, 19 quid. And then you think to yourself, and I can kind of bolt to that a little bit. And then I think to myself, and then I go to a comic book shop and I drop 50, 60 quid on a small stack of books. And that's when you have to really start questioning what's going on and your kind of your priorities. Absolutely. Andrew English, sadly, due to money and space, I have turned to trades. I get it. I'm still a floppies guy, but that's purely down to the episodic nature of comics, and that's the way I read them. That's how I prefer them. But I get it. I totally get it. I have been, because I do stick all of these in CLZ comics as a collector, just to kind of get me a sense of what books I've got and what books I want to kind of keep a hold of. And I do renew the values page quite a lot. I think this week was one of the few weeks where the value of my comics collection actually went up. More often than not, it does go a little bit further down, but there we go. Solicitor Smeg, so I created own comics are going to take over. I'm calling it now. Image will overtake DC and Marvel for the #1 publisher in the next 5 years. Possibly not. At the end of the day, DC still have some of the biggest characters out there. I mean, Batman still sells. It's still the biggest comic character out there on the market shelf. And Marvel still have a lot of wind from tailwind, should I say, from their from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there we go. Andrew English, I found back in balls on Amazon 24 for a pack of 100. I may have to invest. See what happens there. But let me get this room sorted out first. Let's get that sorted. Someone pointed this out the other day. So just sort of asking about these. I put them up here because I quite like them. And I took a picture of them because the person who did the artwork for these, it was his birthday, not last week or week before. Simon Myers. This is a triptych. I don't think you got that bloody sheen of. There we go. Yes, I don't have much in the way of original art. I've got one or two nice bits and pieces which are personal to me. That was an expensive commission. This is back before COVID. This is when there were funds ahoy, and that was not cheap to get that done. But I am intending to get that framed. But no, someone pointed out on there and just asked about it. So it goes that way, and that way. So there you go. That's my Star Wars triptych from Simon Myers, and he does a grand job, doesn't he? Looks amazing. That is particularly nice. Really nice. That nice artist rendition of that scene from Empire. Yeah. When I got the 3 variants, I actually because I had the C-3PO, Star Wars Force Awakens, Han Solo, and I thought I quite liked the idea of getting all 3 of them separate, the 3 characters, and the scene in Force Awakens when Han and Leia see each other for the first time, and there's C-3PO in the middle. That was the plan. That was the plan. Simon liked it and he ran with it, but then he turned around and said that what he actually quite liked the idea of, there wasn't a strong enough image. It wasn't, and certainly he wanted to do more with the faces. I mean, what he's done with the rendition. I mean, he's just such an amazing artist anyway. Yeah. And what he's done there with Harrison Ford, young Harrison Ford's face, looks great. And actually, the detail he's put into 3PO looks great. Very nice. Into the Blue Mister, those are very nice. Get them framed alongside the Scotty Young connecting covers. I have 2 sets of those. One I had nicely signed by a lot of the creators, as well as Scotty Young, at which point I then gave them to a local framer here in the UK, and he put them in a frame. And he said, and I said, well, I won't mind getting some more signature on. So how do I get them out of the frame? He said, I'll bring them back to me and we'll get them out of the frame for you, which kind of sent red flags going off. At which point there was a convention I got invited to very last minute. So I thought, you know what, I'll just pop the frame open, slide the comics out, get them signed, put them back in. At which point I discovered that my local framer, or a framer here in the UK, here in Cleckheaton, decided that the best way to mount these comics was to stick them directly to the backboard with double-sided sticky tape. I'll let you decide on which words I used when I discovered that that is what he'd done. He had absolutely wrecked those books. So I'm currently got the second set, and I'm going to do my best to get them re-signed by Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, Mark Wade, yada, yada, yada. It hurt when I discovered what he had done to those books, and I certainly won't. Yeah, I mean, Into the Blue Mister. Oh no, it's all that, all capital letters coming in. Yeah, not fun. That hurt. So no, I mean, I've taken some advice from Neil Williamson, whose birthday was this week. Happy birthday, Neil! It was his birthday yesterday. If he ends up watching this at some point. Leave them in the backing bag and then mount them, so at least they're protected. You learn these things, but 3 books to learn with, that was just awful. But there we go. Right, let's get on some news, because there are some bits and pieces. So for example, we have got some news about San Diego Comic-Con. Of all things, it's yes. I mean, not only have we got the early bird hotel sale, which is currently going ahead. If you are up for going to San Diego Comic-Con, by now you should know if you're going or not, because we've had the badge sales and all of that. So yeah, if you are attending, if you know you have the opportunity to book your room now, these are rooms that are held in the Mission Valley and Airport area. Nicely cheap. Bit out of the way, but on the shuttle route, and at least they're guaranteed hotel rooms. You know that you've got a bed to stay in, and like I say, they're not that expensive. They're all that has to be paid in advance. It has to be all 4 days, and they're not non-transferable. So it's a wad of cash to put down before Christmas, but at least they're there, and at least it was available. So there was that. But the news that has come out to the last couple of days, which is first offsite, and it's back for Her Universe, presented by Disney and Hot Topic, returning to San Diego in 2023. Her Universe is a known geek and nerd brand. While I would say there are Hero Within, for example, a little bit more subtle. Her Universe definitely wears its nerd cred on its sleeve, and they're very obvious about what the actual branding is all about, and it's very upfront and personal. So yeah, very. It's not subtle. It's strong designs. However, what they're actually putting forward is for people to take part and create something which will be a fashion collection with Her Universe for Hot Topic in celebration of Disney's 100th anniversary. We're talking 20 to 25 pre-selected amateur designers, 18 plus, creating a one-of-a-kind, not for resale couture design. Now, the submissions are available on the Her Universe site, on heruniverse.com/her-universe-fashion-show-2023. Now, it does say that it's must be geek couture fashion, so not a costume. So we're not talking cosplay, but it can be based on anything that's celebrated within the Walt Disney Company family of properties. So that's Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, 20th Century, National Geographic. Quite a wide selection there. 3 designs on a submission form, but only one will be chosen, and it will be open until the 28th of March, April. So you've got, if you are a designer and or you know somebody who is a designer and wants to get a foot in the door when it comes to a high-profile show, because this is something that usually takes place in the Grand Marriott Hotel in the ballroom. They have the full runway, they go all out, and they make it a nice big show. All finalists will need to provide their own styling, makeup, hair design, and model at their own expense. Ouch. Yeah, they're definitely putting all the pressure on the creator. So if you feel it's something that you know someone could be interested in, just to get your foot in the door. I mean, heaven knows if you manage to get pull off on this one and kind of go selected as part of the fashion show. It's high profile. You'll have some of the major brands and major outlets paying attention to this show because it is a very nice presentation that Her Universe put on. So there you go. Give it a check. And like I say, if you want to find out more, if you have a designer friend, perhaps, that wants to get their foot in the door, now is the time to spread the word and let them know that this is taking place. It is Her Universe Fashion Show 2023. You can find out more at the URL down below. So there we go. Right. Is there anything that I kind of said I was going to come back to and didn't? I suspect there is. Yeah, there was a question from earlier, which was, and it was when I was talking about the comics as well, and it was the question about Miracle Man. Here we go. Into the Blue Mister. Have you picked up the new, or rather old, if you prefer, Miracle Man books by Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham yet? Leonard bought them up this weekend and looking forward to them. Right, yes. As somebody who likes to think he knows a reasonable amount about Miracle Man, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. There are others out there that have torn over every aspect, legal, IP, story, the works when it comes to Miracle Man. But I am a fan. And yes, it is related to my Christmas present, which I know it was coming. But anyway, yes, we've had the 3 volumes of Miracle Man, volume number 1 and volume number 2, which make up the first book by Alan Moore and Gary Leach and John Turtlebun, and some amazing creators for that first volume. That then got handed off to Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham for the Golden Age. We are now at which point there was going to be the plans for the third arc, the third volume of Miracle Man stories. And yeah, it was going to be this interesting dissection of what happens when a godlike figure creates nirvana on earth, and when it starts to all go horribly wrong. And that's where we were. We're talking over 10 years ago now, when that volume was about to come out. And they released 2 issues, at which point the company which was publishing the stories went bankrupt and folded. And the books which were ready to go, or at least 2 issues were ready to go from Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham. So that's what we were going to have. We were going to see this continuation. At which point we heard that we were getting the continuation of that story. Excellent. Fantastic. We've had a kind of grand reset. We've had a republishing of some of the major stories. We've had this attempt by Marvel to kind of reintroduce Miracle Man to the audience, which still remains a little bit of the biggest secret that people don't know about when it comes to comics. But what they have done, if they've created or they've republished issues number 1 and issue number 2, and they've done it in a kind of remastered way. Mark Buckingham has gone back to the scripts as written by Neil Gaiman, kept word to word for the original scripts, but has remastered the art and redrawn it some 12, 13 years later. Yeah. Issue number 1, issue number 2 has come out. Issue number 3 has just has dropped, and it's now the first time we're seeing original material and the continuation of the story. I prefer the original art, and I'm going to get so slammed for that. I prefer the original art. I just do. I think it folds neatly into the original art style of Mark Buckingham, but he's obviously evolved over the years. He's changed his art style. He wanted to redress it and look at the way that the story was being told. I prefer the original. Okay, but no, I'm down for seeing where the story goes. I get the sneaking suspicion I have an idea where it's going to go. But it's all in the hands of Neil Gaiman, who is always one for surprising the cack out of us. So we'll see what happens. So in answer to the question, yes, I have. Yes, I will. And yes, I am continuing to buy them. I've got, they're all over there. All my Miracle Men collection is over there. So that will be added to on Christmas Day. There we go. Right. Last but not least, then, nobody's actually answered any question. The question: what is your most memorable Christmassy nerd moment? Don't forget, if you're watching this after the fact, drop down in the comments below. Let us know what your Christmassy nerd moment. Doesn't that even have to be on Christmas? Just something that makes it feels like a gift and a Christmassy kind of vibe. That season of giving. What was your memorable Christmassy nerd moment? Or maybe something that happened when you were out Christmas shopping that was particularly nerdy. Let us know in the comments below, or jumping on the Q&A in the next minute or so. Which means I'm now going to give you 60 seconds. You've got yourself a choice. I've discovered that in the week and the rushes around of the last couple of weeks, that I have got a bunch of interviews that I had done at Thought Bubble 2022 back a month and a half ago, with some incredible people who I then uploaded, but with the intention of trimming them and then putting live, and neglected to do so because I'm an idiot. They will be going live tomorrow. However, would you like to see one now? Basically, I'm going to give you a choice of 3. Okay, I will give you 60 seconds. All right, 60 seconds to answer the question. Okay, you've got 3 interviews which I can play on screen, and we'll do a little bit of a preview. And like I say, I'm going to post the whole thing of the whole collection tomorrow. But here's your choice. I've got master artist and comics creator Emma Vicelli, creator of Breaks, of some amazing comics, and just a true ambassador for British indie creators. So Emma Vicelli. You've got the festival organizer, Chloe Green, with an interview which I held with her literally seconds after Thought Bubble closed. Okay, so she's still very emotional, a little bit on a bit of a high from putting on what was a truly successful weekend. And she gives a little bit of a clue about what we can expect from Thought Bubble 2023, which is rather cool. Or we have Mark Bernardin. Yes, we have the award-winning screenwriter, comics creator, comics writer, podcaster, of course. He's that man that co-hosts Fat Man Beyond with with Kevin Smith, sorry. So you've got 60 seconds, and I'll just waffle on a little bit, starting from now. Put your votes in the comments below, or in the Q&A, and let me know who you'd like to see. Emma Vicelli, Chloe Green, festival organizer of Thought Bubble, or Mark Bernardin? Who would you like to see? Aaron Neighbors is saying Chloe. We've got Andrew English, Mark Bernardin. So one each there. So come on, it's a bit of a tie on that one. If it comes down to a tie, I get to choose. Yeah, have yourself a think of. Let's have a look. You've got 40 seconds. Into the Blue Mister, Chloe. Oh, Andrew English is not going to be happy. I know how big a Mark Bernardin fan is. Michael P says Mark Bernardin. Oh, it's still neck and neck then. It's 2 votes for Chloe and for Mark Bernardin. We're looking for a tiebreaker. You've got 20 seconds. Like I say, I'll pick one. Otherwise, I mean, the Chloe Green one is a particular joy because, like I say, it just finished. It was. I mean, they had literally done the announcement of thanks for coming to Thought Bubble, and I managed to collar Chloe. 15, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. Anyone want to break the deadlock? It's Chloe Green, festival organizer, or master comics creator Mark Bernardin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Aaron Neighbor says, I'll rescind, and I'll say Mark, since I know Andrew is a big fan. Cool. Okay, that I will do then. So tell you what I'll do is I'm going to go to this screen like that, and I will stop that screen like that, and I'll go present, share screen, share system audio, which should play the tab. Like I say, these are all unlisted at the moment, but the second that I get the chance over the next 24 hours, I will basically get this live and we will watch this. Yes, okay. Mark Bernardin. Mark is popular. He's known. Those that do know him and know of his work know how popular he is. It was a bit disappointing to see that the vast majority of your normal people didn't know who he was. I can imagine in the States it would have been a little bit more of a different state of affairs. But it was great to have Thought Bubble invite him, and they invited him a couple of years previously. So this was a chance for him to come over finally and meet the UK fans. And he was surfing on the waves of a successful run of Black Man Beyonds. Obviously with Kevin out doing his promo work for Clerks. He had his own graphic novel, which he was selling at the show, which is an incredible piece of work, award-winning, like I say. And of course, he has his directorial debut. Apparently, Splinter is complete. It's done. It's now just a case of getting out to film festivals and then out to the wider world, including the backers for this short that he's done. So if you wouldn't mind, I hope this is my little bit of a Christmas present to you, a little bit early, before I put it live tomorrow. This is a chat I had with Mark Bernardin on Sunday, the 13th of November, so the second day of the convention at Thought Bubble back in November. So, Thought Bubble 2022, yes. Sunday, we're in not the closing hours, but we're certainly in the midway of the Sunday, and I'm joined by Mark Bernardin.
How are you?
We got you here, eventually, because you were due to come here last year.
Yes, it's been 2 years running.
It's been, yeah,
2020 I was set to come, and then the world took a pause.
Absolutely.
And then last year I was set to come, and then I took a pause. Mm-hmm. And so now finally we're together as destined.
I'm just I mean, it's not your first time in the UK.
No, third.
But yeah, but it's first time at Thought Bubble. What have you made of the show? Well, I mean, because I think it's the last proper bastion as a true comics convention here in the UK. What have you made of it?
I mean, that's what I love about it. You know, I tend to do a handful of conventions every given year, and the San Diego Comic Cons, the New York Comic Cons, sort of bigger American shows. But there's something so lovely about a local show and a comic show.
Sure.
That everybody is here because they love comics specifically. And so getting to just talk to people, getting to interact with them, getting to see what they're reading and what they're liking, that's why a person comes to a show.
Sure.
And not only that, but the fact that you are known as a writer, you're known as a podcaster, but I mean, the plaudits that this thing is getting, if you've not checked out Adora in the Distance, what has been the reaction, certainly for people perhaps who haven't come across it so far? What's it been like to finally meet the fans and get that
it's
that validation,
the validation
from the comics community?
It is always lovely to, especially when I'm talking to kids about it, you know, to find a person who comes up and you can see a little bit of hesitancy, you can see a little bit of like the eye contact is hard, and then like a kid who just says, I love this book, this is my favorite comic book because I saw me in it for the first time. Like that is, I will fly anywhere to come and find somebody for whom this is their favorite book.
Cool. I mean, not only that, but I mean, is it safe to say this is your most personal work that you?
Absolutely. Like, this was the longest time coming. This was 15 years from idea to publication, because it's very much about me as a parent and my daughter as a child, and synthesizing all of this stuff into a fantasy story about knights on a quest, and we're going to do battle with underground pirates and all of that stuff. But it's also very much about raising a child on the spectrum.
Sure. But then we also talk about other personal projects and other things where you, I mean, I'm reminded of the line from, is it High Fidelity, where he said, okay, it's all right to be a professional critic, but then it's time to actually step up and put something into the world yourself.
Yeah.
And you have yourself a project. The films, whereabouts are we with the film? Splinter, thank you.
The short film that I kickstarted last year, was in production for, shot it last December, and we are, as of now, finished. The post is done. We were able to screen it for the cast and crew. We're submitting to festivals.
That I was thinking was going to be the next step. It's festivals and getting it out there now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, then we'll do the festival circuit. We'll see what happens. And if we,
how has been the whole process of getting that film made? Then was it when you first came up with the idea to do it and actually step up and produce and direct this film? What has it been like in the process of it, and how has it measured up to what you thought it was going to be in your head?
It's funny. I think about this quite a bit. When during production, people would ask me, "So you're going to make another movie, right?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know. Is it maybe not? This is a lot, because it is a lot." But once you get into post, and once you get into editing, and once you get into suddenly assembling the thing that you kind of saw in your head, but now it's different than what you saw in your head, but also maybe better than what you saw in your head. Because my limitations as a storyteller are, I know the script. Like, I wrote the script, I know how to protect that, but I'm not a cinematographer, I'm not a production designer, I'm not an editor, I'm not an actor. So watching all of these people come aboard and infuse it with their own energy and their own creativity, it is now not the thing I thought it was going to be.
What was the biggest surprise then? What was the one that just you went, oh shit, did that work? How did that work? What happened there?
I mean, it's almost always with actors.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost always when an actor comes with a read that you didn't have in your head. It's like, oh, there it is. That's the scene.
And how did that then change the story from what you originally had that in mind? How did that organically change?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it changes what the narrative is. It just gives it different colors. It's like a minor chord versus a major chord. Like suddenly you're emotionally in a different place when you hear that same piece of music, simply because you've shifted it down a hair, you pitched it up a hair. And so, coming to the set every day, I would say I have the best seat in the house for a talented artist doing their best. And that's why I will do it again, is to again have that seat in the house.
You've done it. I mean, have you got the bug? What do you think?
Ish. It's hard and it takes a while, but
I'm reminded of the old Douglas Adams quote of producing a film, a bit like a kitchen full of chefs filing in and breathing on a steak to cook it.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Is that how it's kind of felt?
A little bit. I don't have that many chefs, but it's still, it's still more than just me, and that's why it's good. That's why it works, because it's more than just me.
Cool. So what is next then for yourself? I mean, are we talking more comics? Are we talking?
It's a lot of things. There's more comics coming. I have a book called Senses.
What shows have you got coming out?
Yeah. Senses is coming out monthly from Comicsology. I'm still at work on a video game for Marvel and Skydance.
Nice.
that does not have a title yet, but it does feature Black Panther and Captain America in 1942 occupied
Nice.
Paris, punching Nazis.
And that shouldn't have been muted. That shouldn't have stopped right there. There was more to that. Gonna have to try and track that down. Yes. Yeah, there was more to it, but at least we got a little bit of it, and I'll get the rest of it up tomorrow. But there we go, a little bit of a Mark Bernardin mini interview there, which I held at Thoughtful. Yeah, good guy, very good guy. I mean, we talk about those moments when you lose the plot a little bit when you get to speak to somebody. And I mean, this weekend, or that particular weekend, it was a case of bumping into some incredible talent. And I'm in a very, very privileged place at the moment where I can just go up to people and talk to them, and they are my friends now. So, for example, Alex Packnadell, I consider as a friend. Nick Brokenshire, I consider myself a friend. Emma Vicelli, I consider a friend. Rachel Smith, I consider a friend. Yeah. Chip Mosier from Comixology, I can talk to, and we did have a couple of pints. And Scott Snyder, I consider a friend now, which is weird, a strange thing to say. But to then go to that opening night, it was a quiz night that was being held at a pizza place, and to come around and then just turn around and there's Mark Bernardin. I go, shit, you're Mark Bernardin. Blah, blah, blah. And I literally lost it. I couldn't get my words straight. And it was only about half an hour later when I then collared him, just so like in the corridor. I said, right, okay, now I can compose myself. Yeah, good guy. Very good guy indeed. So there we go. Right. I think we'll wrap it up there and just say thank you very much indeed for watching. Thanks for everyone for contributing and jumping in with their comments and questions and bits and pieces today. Yeah, like I say, I wasn't too sure how the show was going to go, but it was going to be more of a little bit of an impromptu type thing. But it's been good to kind of catch up with everyone, if anything, because the last 2-3 weeks have been so difficult, technically wise. But we've got a show done, and yeah, all sorted. Thank you very much indeed. Andrew English says happy holidays. Oh, he says thank you as well for putting the Mark Bernardin on, and happy holidays for myself, and I. Indeed, absolutely. In fact, where is it? Let's put this back on because we can. Yes, there you go. A little bit of snowflakes, because while it is not a white Christmas yet here in the UK, it's bitterly cold. I can see it possibly on the horizon that we may have some snow this week. It's just been very, very cold and very wet and very grey. But as we get closer and closer to next weekend, obviously it's going to get a little bit brighter and a little bit more jingly jangly, and everyone's just going to be in a little bit more of a happy place. And I hope that's where you are yourself. This has been a tough year. It's been hard work to get back up to speed for a lot of people after 2 even harder years. The aftermath of those 2 years are still being felt, financially, emotionally, creatively. It's difficult, but the great thing about Christmas is it allows you to have a little bit of optimism and a little bit of joy and something a little bit brighter on the horizon, which is why I want to wish you all the very best and have yourself an incredible Christmas surrounded by your family of choice, or your family, the family that you have, or the family you've made. All right. If you are celebrating on your own, just be aware that you're not. There's always somebody who will be on the other end of the line. Reach out, let them know, and we'll be there to have you back. Okay. speaking of which, something else I am going to wrap up on. Okay. It was probably going to happen at some point, but it's probably going to happen before the new year. So in the next couple of weeks, I am going to be more than likely closing, if not closing down, certainly not posting to the Twitter account, to the Bird app anymore. If you are watching this on Twitter, yes, I will still be sharing this the show to Twitter, but I won't be advertising as much on there. I won't be doing much on Twitter, shy of sharing maybe the post from the Convention Collective. I certainly will be less obvious on that site, because it's okay to know that the lunatics are taking over the asylum, but when the warden is actively opening up the doors and letting them run amok, that's when it's time. I think the way I described it to someone once was, yes, it's a little bit like the bear taking a massive dump on the kitchen table, but you don't have that happen in the middle of a party, and if it does, you know that that's when the party is time to leave. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be heading over more to Mastodon and also to Hive. It's still going to be the same thing down there. Englishman s10e15. Yes, I know that Hive is still incredibly twitchy, but at least it feels a little bit more optimistic. There's a lot of creative people on there. There's people that want to kind of spread the word about their creative endeavors. You can't say further than that. Yeah, I think the bonfire, which is Twitter, is something which I'm just going to step away from before it actually takes the rafters to the ground. Yeah, Mastodon and Hive. You'll see me on both of those socials. More than likely more Hive. I enjoy Hive more. So I feel it's optimistic as a social media, however glitchy it may be, if anything, because it feels like virgin territory. So that's why I feel that I'm going to be living more. But there you go, Englishman s10e15, you'll be able to find me on there. If anything, Hive, I'll try and be that kind of like first port of call for your convention news, for your San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So please do follow me. If you are going to Hive or the Hive social, Englishman s10e15, you'll find me on there. But as for Twitter, I mean, I know that it's what, 7,000 followers at the moment, which isn't anything to be sniffed at. But I think I'm more than happy to just say, I think it's time to call time. That's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. You'll see me less and less on Twitter and more on Mastodon and on Hive. So there we go. To everybody, let's say our farewells, wishing everyone delightful holidays full of love and joy. Our neighbours, happy holidays, everyone. Happy Christmas to you, sir. Clyde Nee as well, Merry Christmas to you. Sarita P, to you and yours in the chat. Into the Blue Mister, Merry Christmas, everyone. And Andrew English, I lost the Christmas spirit when I inherited the drinks cabinet and lost the key. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's what a good hardy screwdriver and a popping of the lock's all about, sir. So there you go. Right, Christmas. I don't think I'm going to be doing a full show. We will not be having a full episode next week on the 25th, but I may come online just for like 10 minutes or so, just to wish you all the very best and maybe show off one or two of my nerdy presents and just have a chat with you and see how you've been doing and see how your Christmas is. We will not be doing a show on the 1st of January, mostly because I am actually working on the New Year's Eve and I'm going to be absolutely shattered. And I think just a day I'm just going to take New Year's Day off. So we'll be back properly with an actual full-blown show on the 8th of January. Okay, Sunday the 8th for episode 16. Hopefully we're going to be getting some guests back on. I am still trying to reschedule for Scott Snyder. Scott apparently is struggling to actually get his Sundays free. So we may be doing a show and pre-recording it. Not something I am keen on. I like the live interaction, and at the end of the day, I want you guys to get your questions in as well. But we'll see what happens. Who else we got? Sarah Gailey and Liana Kangas. They've got a cracking book that's doing the rounds at the moment, and they're riding high on the first issue coming out. Hopefully going to be getting them on the show relatively soon as well. I am getting guests lined up, but as always, if you have anybody that you would like to see on the show, let us know. Drop me a line. You can either DM me on Twitter, Facebook, Hive, or Mastodon. Let me know of somebody that you would like to see on the show, and we'll try and get them on as best as we possibly can. And hopefully we'll see you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the new year for that run-up for San Diego Comic-Con 2023, when we will be able to say, this year, we're heading back to San Diego. That's going to be on the 8th. Hopefully you can join us for that. Into the Blue, mister. You better be on over Christmas. We want to see the Miracle Man suit. It's not a Miracle Man suit. Let's be quite clear on that. Okay, thanks for your company. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do take care. And from myself, Leonard, have yourself an incredible Christmas. From myself and Caroline, of course, have yourself an amazing Christmas. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.